Let's have a look into the Victoria University Data Lab. It's all thanks to our finals countdown partner, Victoria University. We're going to go into the VU Data Lab, Ellie, to look at some of the key stats about some of our Bulldogs prime movers. So thanks to VU and Bulldogs analyst Sam McIntosh, let's have a look at the top 20 AFL player ratings. And this is a great indication of the strength of this Bulldogs side when you look at how many Dogs are in that top 20.
Yeah, obviously there's 4 players there in the top 20, Marcus Bontempelli, Jack Macrae, Tom Liberatore, who unfortunately missed out on the All-Australian selection, and Bailey Dale, who made his way into the halfback of the All-Australian team, rightfully so. And look at those rankings. Obviously, Bont and Macrae sitting right up there in the top 4. They've had an extremely positive and great season on their behalf. So I think that's really positive signs for the Bulldogs. We're
going to look in a little bit closer detail to Bailey Dale, one of the great positional changes that we've seen in recent times in terms of the bang for the buck and what they've been able to reap, the rewards that they have from that change, Luke Beveridge. But and I want to ask you about Jake Stringer a little bit more and what you would do in terms of a match-up from him. But if we have a look at Jack Macrae, Marcus Bontempelli, so 3 times in a row now Macrae has been All-Australian, Bontempelli in that side again. 1 and 3 ranked midfielders in the competition, but as someone who uses the ball better than most in the AFLW, Ellie, you would appreciate just how well these guys do the same, ranked 2 and 3.
Absolutely, and they're just so crafty, and the way they move it's slick, it's super nice to watch. So, they've had extremely, as I mentioned before, they've had great seasons, and it's just the way they move and get themselves into positions. They've obviously got to be able to trust the guys who are winning out at the source. So I guess the Libbers, the Dunkleys, and relying on Tim English and obviously Stephen Martin throughout the season to play important roles in the ruck to give it to them. So, but the way they position themselves, but it's not just that, their work rate and all of that adds to this. So they've been extremely positive this year.
The other thing about this too is when the Libbers and the Dunkleys can get the ball in the hands of the Bontempellis and Macraes, they're in the top 4, both of them, for goal assists this year as well. So their ability to provide when they get the ball in the right position. So those centre clearances and contested ball stats are going to be so important in this game. This is the one that we were really keen to talk about, and I know you were too. One of the great positional changes, Bailey Dale been deployed over the last few years as the lead-up forward, and now is All-Australian running off half-back. And look at those player rankings and the ball use rankings.
That's just incredible, isn't it? To have that kind of change and then to be ranked number 1 in both the rating and the ball use for a defender is incredible. And as we have a look at here at, I guess his range and where he's expected to have sort of played and the level he's expected to have played at. As we have a look at here, there's only 1 game where he's sat outside the expected range for it, but most of it's in it and above.
Yeah, and those games where he's been above too, the numbers are phenomenal, and he almost doubles his output in terms of inside 50s. He goes from about 2 and a bit to almost 4.5, from 3 score involvements to about 6.5, and then metres gained about 479 to 674 when he's at the top end. And the only time he's been below, as you mentioned, was that last game against Essendon, and they put a lot of work into him. So you know that there'll be a plan to free him up and to get him off the chain. And he's been the most improved player, you'd think, this season, and his ball use far and away exceeds most that play in the position that he does. It's a credit to him though too, isn't it, to be able to be told, okay, we're going to change you up, but then the way in which he's responded has been he's exceeded every expectation.
Yeah, I don't think most players like it when the coach comes and taps them on the shoulder and says, hey, we want to move you from the forward line to the back line. I think most players, they won't say it, but I think they would all somewhat admit that they love playing forward. So for him to, I guess, be open to that change, and then just the way he's adapted to it has been incredible. And, he's run, he's carried, but then he also has the experience of going up forward as well. So he's been able to hit the scoreboard and played extremely well as that, I guess, rebounding halfback flanker.
So big thanks to Victoria University and Sam McIntosh for all that brilliant analysis in the VU Data Lab.